Ladies and gentlemen, this
all
looks weird.
three
Hold on,
back.
give me a second. That's better.
We're all three
I'm
back.
back
The three are back. The Three Musketeers, the Three Amigos, the
for a
three
limited time.
definitely more like the Three Stooges. We are
Not
back
very
together again, and we have decided to take a break of our normal course of action against all pleads and begs. We will be separating ourselves from the college football space today and dipping our toe into the NFL space
Yeah.
since this is a sports show and we are unfortunately Cowboys fans.
Oh.
We figured we would be
Hey,
remiss if we didn't talk about our beloved Cowboys. So that being said, I will let the resident Cowboy Homer take it away.
which one are you referring to?
The one wearing all the Cowboys merchandise.
Jesus Christ.
The one wearing the hat
So,
and
so
the.
without further ado, I would like to make a toast to D Ware making to the Cowboys Ring of Honor. I
He
think
should be in the Broncos Ring of Honor.
he's our sack leader franchise wise, yeah. So good,
That sounds
good
right.
for him. That's awesome. Deserves it. I could think of 10 other people as well that their
Oh
names are
crap!
going to
This
be
fuck's
called in
turned to a
the
rant.
but awesome
Tony
for him.
Romo?
Fantastic. Romo's going to be in there. Jimmy Johnson should be in there.
Should
Dak
be in
Prescott?
there.
No, no. Dak Prescott belongs in the
He'll
tier.
probably be in there at some point.
Maybe. But gentlemen, I don't know about y'all, but I have been I've been
Gentlemen,
more
who came in?
invested in training camp and the preseason than I have been in seasons past. Why? I don't know, considering how we ended last year. But I'm intrigued.
Because you're
I'm intrigued. So I kind of want to go through game by like just a prediction of the NFC East, which is probably going to be a bloodbath this year. But before I get into it, I just want to say from everything I've seen so far, training camp has been very cruel to a lot of teams so far this year. Would you all agree? I mean, in terms of injuries.
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry. I drifted.
Wow, y'all too.
I drifted. Go
I
ahead.
was
Say
saying
it again.
training camp this year has been pretty brutal to teams in terms of injuries, more so than usual. I mean, every night, what, two or three teams like will lose one of their star players, right? But this year's been it's been brutal, which is making it the season a little more open and for the taking than in years past.
Realistically, who's been injured? Because I haven't been paying attention.
So Burrow, that's one.
Okay. But he'll be
Okay.
back in a few weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just. I think it is a kind of a depending on like what the injuries are. Like like JC has said, I kind of haven't been paying attention, but like if it's like season-ending stuff, then yeah, that's cause for concern. But I think it's just you got a lot of guys getting into the swing of things, and people going to tweak things.
Well, I mean, the Cowboys had two ACL tears on the same day be announced.
That's
I
a
know.
little concerning.
Yeah, they're both rookies. They'll be fine.
But
Yeah.
as sad as it
Turkey
is to see
pieces of
Overzone
crap.
get tears ACL, you know,
Figures the Texas player gets hurt.
oh fuck that.
Oh no.
At least it's in our linebacking room where we've got some depth. So it hurts, but it's not like a do or die injury.
I think the thing that bothers me the most about the Overshawn one was that he was seen everywhere. Like the first game I kind of watched it, but like I just remember hearing his name and a lot of people talking positively about him. That's the thing that really bothers me about the Overshawn injury. Um, who was the other guy that went out?
John
there other? Huh?
John Stevens,
Oh.
rookie tight end, who is actually showing decent flashes among our committee and that the Cowboys have in the tight end room this year. For all of you Jake Ferguson stands, good job, congratulations.
I'll say this
Peyton
from the
Henderson.
preseason. I think I've been intrigued by what the defense. I mean, the defense is going to be fantastic anyways, but just to see the more
Which-
talent get onto that defense.
Which
But what concerns me is what the offense could be.
Which, to your point, that's something I've been really excited about as this training camp has gone on. Before we get into it, the defense in training camp looks good. We're predicted to have one of, if not the best defense in the league, which says something. So it's looking good. And take your pick. I was looking at some statistics and some odd predictions. People not only are people predicting Dak to have a great year, people are predicting Trayvon to be one of the best players in the secondary across the NFL this year. Like he'll have his best year of his career.
You want a hot take?
Yeah.
And this may just be
Okay.
my internal damage that the Cowboys has given me over time.
I
The Cowboys are going to take a step back this year.
I disagree, but I'll get into that.
I want to say something.
Provide reasoning.
What?
After
Who's
Somebody
he
say
asking?
something.
Okay, I will get into that as we go game by game through our schedule, and then talk about the Eagles, the Giants, and the Commodes.
Lord.
I actually kind of agree with. I'm going to say I actually kind of agree with JC looking at the schedule. I think the talent's about the same from last year, but the schedule is way different. It's so brutal. I mean,
So-
you know, and then there's some question marks that I have, but I guess we'll get into that later, like you said.
So let's go through it, right? So the first team we have is the Giants at New York, which I'm trying to go to. And for the sake of argument, let's go ahead and give the Cowboys a dub for every game that they're favored in. Just a sense of argument.
I'd say they lose game one.
You think we're going to lose game one? See, I have game one, we're at the Giants, and game two, we're at home against the Jets. I have it flipped. I think we're going to win in New York, but lose at home to the Jets. And I'll tell you why. So,
It wouldn't surprise me if we lost both games, honestly.
but
Here's
I don't think we're going to. We're not going to start off the season 0-2.
We could.
I mean, it's possible.
I mean, the Giants were a good team last year, and they finally have a good receiver. Plus, Daniel Jones is playing for his career at this point. So, week one, you're gonna have Daniel Jones ready to rock and roll. You're gonna have a healthy Saquon Barkley. You've got Jalen Hyatt there now. Their offensive line is looking solid. Like they've got a legitimate shot. So having to go to their place in week one, it's very viable we lose. The argument
it's true.
for the Jets is I don't bet against Aaron Rodgers in Jerry World. Like it's never happened. So, it might have happened once this past year. Whatever. I don't know. I don't bet against Aaron Rodgers against the Cowboys.
But my problem with the
that's-
Giants, I think
that's the thing.
Daniel Jones could post like a career high, like PF grade this year, like the help that you're talking about, and like their offensive line is getting better. But in my opinion, the best version of Daniel Jones might not be enough to counter their regression that they've taken last season. So they had even like a negative potential, yet they won 9 games. So I think on paper they're like they could win, but still their roster is patchy. So and being reliant on young players usually doesn't favor well with teams which have experience, which we've got experience going into this year. So here, let's keep a tally. So I think week one, that's a win. James, you think that's a loss, right?
I have 0-2 through 2 weeks.
You have 0-2. I have 1-1 through 2 weeks. And why I don't think we'll win Jets. 1, Aaron Rodgers. 2, they just got Dalvin Cook, and they already had Breece Hall. So their running backs are good. Their defense is
Except
Probably.
Brees Hall's not going to play right away because
Huh?
of his ACL.
Who?
Brees Hall's not complaining.
Brees Hall's not
Oh,
going to
that's
play
right.
right away.
Yeah, Brees Hall has his ACL. But still, they got Dalvin Cook. We'll see what Aaron Rodgers does. That, I think, is a big question mark. Is he going to be an Aaron Rodgers of his prime at Green Bay, or is he going to be an Aaron Rodgers of what we saw last year? We don't know. Their defense is good across the board. I think it's one of the best, if not the best, in their division. But we'll see. The fact that Rodgers and Jared World is why I'm putting them as a loss. Chris, what do you think? I've got 1-1. James, you're 0-2. What do you got?
So I'm going to expand it a little bit. So I think for me, like I looked at the schedule. With the Giants, I think we could either win both games or split both games. And that game specifically being at home in the Meadowlands, I'm gonna give them a loss. And on the I'm gonna give them a loss on that one. With the Jets, they've gotten a lot more talent. They've gotten more talented. They should be a much better football team. But that whether or not Aaron Rodgers, like you said, is what he was last year, if that was a fluke, or if he continues to be that, which honestly, I mean, he's kind of entitled to that because of his age. But it's Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's owned us every time we've played him. So honestly, I can see a scenario where he doesn't have the best game, but he still manages to beat us. So
right,
I can see a scenario where we're 0-2 to start the year.
Okay, so are you sticking with that 0-2?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going 1-1. Both of y'all are going 0-2. Week 3 is against the Cardinals. That's a win. The Cardinals are rebuilding.
Is it in Arizona or in Dallas?
It's in Arizona. It's in Arizona, but that doesn't matter. But
I think it's an uncomfortable.
Kyler Murray playing in Jerry World, he's never lost.
He's never lost, but I will take Kyler Murray having never lost in Jerry World. Like, I'll take him to lose in Jerry World before Aaron Rodgers because of how bad the Cardinals were last year.
Yeah, we said that when he was a rookie.
But hold on. Especially, he had a better team when he was a rookie. And look at their O-line. We have one of the best defenses in the league, if not the best, against that O-line, which was what? About as protective as a Walmart plastic bag floating in the air.
Hey, you can wrap it up with just about anything, man.
That's what she said, but okay. Anyway, so it's in Arizona.
I'll give you 1-2.
Okay, so you're going 1-2. I'm going 2-1. Chris?
I mean, I think it's an uncomfortable. I think the game gets uncomfortable, but I do think that we find a way to win it, and we go 1-2.
You think we find a way?
Find a way to win it.
I don't think it's going to be a problem, but that's just me. Moving on. So let me see. Week 4 versus Patriots. Zeke comes home, boys. Win or loss?
Patriots haven't been the same since Tom Brady left, and I don't know if they're going up or going down.
They might legitimately be bad this year.
They it'll be nice to see Zeke come home, and what a better way to welcome Zeke back than beating him again when he's with the Patriots. So I think it's going to be 2-2.
So you're 2-2, James.
I'll stay 2-2. That's fine.
2-2. Okay, I'm going 3-1. Then
We go
to San Francisco. Now, as unbiased as possible, this one is interesting.
You're high.
Huh?
It's 2-3. We're 2-3.
But
you're actually high.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
Step
back for a minute and just consider it, right?
Barring some act of God between now and week 5,
What's the
in
act
a
of God? Any
negative
defense
way
explodes?
for the 49ers.
We'll give them.
What's the act of God?
We'll give them a loss. We'll give them a loss.
So that's 2 and 3.
That's 2 and 3 for y'all. I'm 3 and 2. I mean, granted, Brock Purdy's your quarterback. Who knows if he's going to replicate what he did last year? But you still got Debo. You still got Brandon Ayuk. You still got Kittle. That
And
defense.
you have one of the best defenses in the NFL.
That defense is one of the few that I like better than ours, to be honest with y'all. Tons of talent across the board. And I would like to point out, San Francisco has done like a lot better on offense than we have.
Yeah.
So, and shout out to
As long as we don't embarrass ourselves.
shout out to
As long as we
Lynch. I love
John
Lynch.
Lynch.
Yeah, I love John Lynch.
Okay.
As long as we don't embarrass ourselves at the end, I'll be fine.
So that leads us into Monday Night
I'm feeling
Football
pretty
Week 6 at the Chargers.
At Chargers, which
Hear me out.
I'm thinking Herbert, I think, is going to have a better year. They added, I'm blanking on who the receiver they drafted during this
Quentin
year.
Johnston.
Quentin Johnston. They still got who wanted to leave but is still there.
I have a title for this game.
What do you call it?
I'm calling it the Kellen Moore revenge game.
The Kellen Moore event. I love it.
Oh, he is over there.
Cowboys are going to fall to 2 and 4.
You're saying 2 and 4.
Yes.
Okay, so 2 and 4. And James, keep in mind, you're even saying this when Mike McCarthy is now calling the plays.
Yes.
Okay. Before we go further, what are the reasons we're losing outside of not scoring as many points as the other team?
You talk about this game specifically, or
Just right now, why do you say that we sit at 2 and 4? What are the main problems or problem up to this point?
Kellen Moore calls an incredible game.
Well, no, Chris.
So, a couple reasons. One is we're going to a different play caller. So early in the season, it's going to be a weird adjustment when all the ones are playing together. I fully believe that. Two, I'm expecting early season letdown on defense before they start to click a little bit. There's a lot of players I love on the defense, but I just feel like with the caliber of teams we're playing, it's going to be hard for them to mesh early on. And so I'm not expecting us to get blown out in any of these games, but I'm expecting us to lose close games.
Okay.
I got
Like
you.
the Chargers
I can see
game,
that, and on top of
I think the Chargers game will be a shootout. I think the Niners game is going to be like the freaking like 21-18
like the playoff.
Yep.
Like
Patriots,
the playoff. Yeah.
Patriots will probably will win decently. Cardinals, we should win decently. I just feel like the Giants and the Jets games are going to go the wrong way. And so to the bye week, we're 2 and 4. Everybody's got their head in their hands, trying to figure out where the hell we're going.
Yeah, now we're to the bye week, and which will, again, it'll be interesting. But I also wanted to add that Herbert could have a career year this year. He's got Eckler, he's got Johnston, he's got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. He's got the tools he needs to ball out this year.
Well, he had all those tools last year.
Well,
they've also had a history of blowing games.
They do. Their defense has had question marks and holes and like a reputation for blowing games, but now they added another tool, Quentin Johnston, who that's only going to free up space for Allen and Williams. So I think it'll be interesting
in theory
to see how he does this year.
So going to week 8.
Week 8, we've got where it's the Rams. So hold on, just to recap. You're what, 2 and 4?
Yep.
Okay, I'll go 4 and 2. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'll go 4 and 2
as well.
Okay. So mine is the high hopeful, and yours is like the worst case scenario. Versus the Rams, that should be a win. The Rams should be a win. The Rams, I think.
The Rams defense outside of Aaron Donald is abysmal.
Yeah, they're
And
that's
exactly
definitely
I don't know if I don't know what the hell their offense is going to be this year because Matthew Stafford should be healthy again and Cooper Kupp should be healthy again. So they should be doing decently on offense. This is one of those games where I feel like it's going to go one of two ways. Cowboys are going to either going to come out and have a statement win, or they're going to come out and shit the bed.
And here's the thing. I
Is
want
it still gonna?
to add on that. So, if worst case scenario we're 2-4, we go into the bye week, we take a breath, clean up what we need to clean up, and I think we play LA, damn near perfect game, and we win. Y'all's case, 3-4. I'm going.
5-2.
I'm going 5-2.
So here's where it's interesting because we have the road game at the Eagles the following week. I have this playing out one of two ways.
Trap game.
We're either going to have a statement game against LA and follow it up with a win at Eagles, or we shit the bed against the Rams and we follow it up with a goose egg, not necessarily a goose egg, but just another abysmal performance at the Eagles.
I think
it's going 2-0 or 0-2.
I think so.
I have us going
1-1. Let's talk about that. So then after we play the Rams, right? Then we go to Philly. Which boys are we going this year?
No.
Let's run it back.
We won't even commit to our trip we were trying to plan.
To go to Buffalo.
Yeah, I can't argue that. If we could go, we should go. Let's run it back. Let's go get some cheese.
And you're still trying to back out of our freaking OUSMU trip.
No.
For me with Philly, I have us either going 0-2 or 1-1. And regardless of what happens with the Rams, the Eagles aren't the Rams. So that game, they're going to be prepared just as we should be prepared. And I think that that's a game that we'll probably lose at Philly.
So here, let me ask you this. So James, right, going into Eagles right now, you're 3-4 because I'm given and because your record and Chris's record is the same. Both of y'all are 3-4 right now. Are you saying 4-4?
I'm saying 4-4.
I'm going 5-3. I think we're going to do well against the Rams, but I'm having a split, and we'll go later. Split with the Eagles.
Okay. So the following week of the Eagles, we come off a high against the Eagles.
Hold on. I do want to ask. Say the Cowboys managed at this point to be 2-6. Is Mike McCarthy fired yet?
No.
If he's not yet, he's on the hottest seat in the league.
And what at this point, if we go 2-6, 2 weeks off the bye week, what is the biggest cause of our loss? Bad defense, bad off. What's going on?
My first instinct's bad offense because the Rams defense is bad enough. We should score probably 40 on them.
Yeah.
And if we don't win that, it's because our offense didn't score enough points.
Yeah, I would look at the defense the offense because the defense is. I mean, if the defense has issues this year, then they've had such a great track record over the last 2 or 3 years that you just you almost can't even blame them.
But fellas, here's the okay. So we've narrowed it to bad offense. What's wrong with the offense specifically? Is the running game bad? Is Dak throwing interceptions?
Who the hell knows, dude? Stop trying to lay it on freaking Dak Prescott.
That's not what I said, and that's not what I asked. The question was, what's not? Is it running back? Is it missing Zeke, who was one of our best blockers last year? Like, it could all just be a clusterfuck.
I couldn't tell you because that's freaking 3 months from now. Who the hell knows?
I'll tell you when we get there. Let's move on.
So right now, I'm going 5-3. Next week we're at home against the Giants. I'm marking that as a win. we're at home. Dak knows the NFC East really well.
I say we continue to ride the high. We continue our high. We're 5-4 now.
Okay, so we're above 500. Chris, what do you think?
So we're beating the Giants and we're also beating the Panthers down below.
Okay, so we're gonna go to
so
Carolina.
we're at 6-4.
I'm going 7
We're
and
at
3.
6-4.
Okay. Then we've got versus the Commodes.
Back.
I'm going that. We're gonna play the Commanders.
2 Commanders, 7-4.
Okay, so I got 6 and 5, I think.
Okay. Wait, why are you 6 and 5?
Let me think. Because I'm not on the same. There was a couple games I wasn't on the same track as JC. I think it was the Eagles. Huh?
And speak up.
Oh, yeah, it's because I had 2-0 here. He had 1-1. That's why.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it. Okay, so Chris, you're 6. Got it. Okay.
Yep. And then
this is our toughest stretch. Week 13 through 17 is a really, really tough stretch.
So we have to go to Seattle on Thursday night at the end of November.
No, we're at home.
Oh, we're at home. Never mind. I'm tripping.
We're at home. Yeah, we're at home versus Seattle, which that is a toss-up. That's Thursday night. It's at home.
So
I'm going to give us a win. Just because I don't know if I trust Geno Smith to come in here on a Thursday night and win.
That was the one. Well, I'm going to say this. As a whole, their whole team doesn't impress me. They don't have necessarily like the superstars that stand out, but they have a lot of really damn good players.
Well, if I could, James, their receiving core is interesting.
So this is where you cut me off because I was getting there.
Okay, go ahead. You beat me to it.
DK Metcalf, we all know what he can be, right?
Mm-hmm.
The name, I believe, is going to show off this game and cause us to lose this game will be Jackson Smith and Jiba.
Really?
Mm.
The homecoming.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, that's true. Rockwall.
He will come to Dallas, as anybody that returns to Dallas does, and put on a show.
Okay. So, James, I could see that. You don't think our secondary could shut him down?
To the point of they have a good receiving core, people are going to primarily everybody's going to put most of their focus on DK Metcalf. You have then behind DK Metcalf or wherever else on the field at the same time, if you want, Tyler Lockett.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then just in case you forgot, you get JSN in the slot.
Yeah.
So you can only cover so many people.
Yeah.
So that combination of the three receivers, I feel like JSN will be the one that ends up getting open most of the time. Even though
Geno Smith is your quarterback, who had a hell of a comeback here.
Let Geno cook.
Why?
Geno had a good
game. I mean, we'll see what he does.
So James, right now you're 7 and 5. I'm gonna give him the win. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Chris, what are you saying?
I'll go
Thursday night at home. You're what?
Confident one. Very unconfident one.
Okay, so you're 7 and 5. All right, then.
To the following week,
we're at home.
Eagles come in town.
We are at home against the Shitbirds from Philadelphia. I had a splitting with Philly, and I think it's going to be a repeat of last year. I think we win. James?
I think we do the reverse of what we did last year.
Okay.
where both teams held serve at home. This year, I have us winning in Philly and losing in Dallas.
Yeah, they're winning
So
in
this will
Philly
take us
because
to
we're not
7
there.
and 6. This will take my record to 7-6.
Chris? Before I ask you, can we just talk about how the Eagles are no longer the Eagles, now the Philadelphia Bulldogs on defense?
Or the
No,
Philadelphia
this is not an
Tide.
Eagles show.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Anyways,
Their defense is going to be pretty. Their defense will be good. So, what do you think, Chris? What's your prediction?
I'm going to give us a win against them at home. So that's 8-5, I think, for me. And we get to the game that we will be in attendance for.
This is interesting. So,
The Bills.
Is Josh Allen injured?
Allen is hurt right now, which is he got hurt.
How long is he out?
He got hurt in training camp. I think he'll be fine for this game. It's still uncertain. Hold that thought before I say that.
I think it depends on when he comes back and how healthy Josh Allen is whenever this game comes. Because if Josh Allen's healthy, I think we lose this game. If he's injured, I think it's close. But I think we find a way to win.
So right now,
I think
Josh Allen. I mean, even going back to last year, like in February, he had a UCL sprain, but just recently this month, he's gone down like in consecutive practices with non-contact injuries. So it depends on what Josh Allen you're getting, and it depends if he's even going to play.
You know what? On second thought, that he's probably going to be in the cold.
But don't even think about the team though. Just think about that environment. You have an old rivalry coming into your house where people jump through tables for a living,
and it's going to be cold. You know what? I have us losing that game now.
Which we have a history as of late of not performing well outside in the cold.
Yeah, I think we lose. You know what? On second thought, I think we lose that game.
I'm going to go lost. So, Chris, you're now at 8-6. I'm now at 10-4. Where are you, James?
7-7.
7-7. Okay. James, why do you think
you're like half glass full, half empty?
Yeah. Why do you think
it's always 100% full? It just depends on what you fill it with.
Did you guys know?
In this case, it's bourbon or whiskey.
You can't drink a full glass of water. Did you guys know that?
Huh?
You can't drink a full glass of water.
Stop smoking the dope, dude.
You can't. Because if you drink the water, the glass is no longer full. And what are you going to do? Just leave the glass sitting there? It's impossible. But anyway, James, what do you think? So you're going 7-7. Why? Why do we lose?
Why? It's all you.
This game specifically,
it's your fault.
Josh Allen's going to do what he does best. It seems like even as good as our defenses have been the last several years, we still struggle with mobile quarterbacks that can be accurate at throwing. Well, guess what you have the definition of in Buffalo?
Yeah,
Josh Allen.
And you think Stephon Diggs isn't going to stunt on Trevon at home? Yeah, okay.
But James, here's the other thing.
You think
here's the other thing. Question. As much that we're not considering though, as much shit as I give Dak Prescott for throwing interceptions, Josh Allen, in my opinion, makes more boneheaded throws than Dak Prescott does. So there is that.
Which team's won more games the last few years?
Bills. Can I say something?
All right, cool.
Does your opinion? Can I just say something before we move on? Does your opinion change if he's not 100% or if he's injured?
If Josh Allen does not play, I have full confidence we can walk in there and win.
I was talking to the guy above me.
If he's injured, how is he injured? Is it throwing or running? We'll see. Then we go to the Dolphins, and that is on Christmas.
Dude. Stop asking me stupid questions.
Wait, what? What did you say?
Nothing. Moving
I
on.
think the Cowboys have a nice Christmas this year. We win.
So you're going 9.
Well,
I'm sorry, 8 and
okay,
7.
so hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out. Okay. Here's the situation. Think of the conditions in Buffalo, and then think what the conditions are going to be in Miami the week after, right?
Oh, it's gonna be beautiful.
Well, you're going from what is likely going to be
Compared.
20s and 30s to 85 and sunny.
We're gonna be there. Yeah.
Oh,
And what happened last year when the Cowboys went to Florida in December?
I know what you're referring to, but and
We lost
and
to
we won,
Jacksonville.
and we won against Tampa. But
We lost to Jacksonville.
oh, I thought you were talking about the Tampa game.
The Tampa game didn't happen until
That's the playoffs.
January.
Yeah, duh. My bad. I'm wrong. So you're going.
Is that a
8
game that we?
You think it's going to be a good Christmas? What do you think, Chris?
Miami Dolphins. They seem to have a somewhat of a quarterback issue. Like he said, we managed to lose that Jacksonville game, which if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, was a game that we straight up blew. I think we were winning pretty handedly.
Oh yes.
Okay,
and I can see
that's, okay.
I could see a world that happens again in Miami.
I feel like it could.
I feel like Buffalo to
it,
Miami is such a brutal 2-week stretch because here's the thing: it doesn't matter if you win or lose at Buffalo. You're going from one set of conditions to the next, completely different. And even if you win in Buffalo, well, hey, you're coming off the high of that. You're coming out of the cold. Now you're going to a hot Miami where you can be let down easily. That Miami game is a game you need to win, but it's not going to be as easy as you think.
So
as it stands now, I say we win that game, but I would not be surprised if we blow it, just like the Jacksonville game last year.
Chris, what were you going to say?
I think I'm kind of in that same boat. I think you could see that scenario. I think it's going to be one of those games that you're sitting at the edge of your chair going, please, not again. Not again. We did this against Jacksonville, but I think we find a way to win this game.
Okay. Cool. So I think we lose. I'm marking this one down as a loss column. I like the Dolphins roster, actually. They have speed. They've got Tyreek Hill. We'll see what A-Chain does. They still got Jalen Ramsey on defense. They have Waddle. I think even with the issues, this is such a tough stretch like what we were talking about, and we're going to see wear and tear. I don't think it's going to be last year. Like last year, where we had a great Christmas after we beat the trash from Philly. I think we lose in Miami, unfortunately.
Fun.
So just to recap right now, James, you're 8 and 7. I'm 10 and 5. Chris, you're 9 and 6. Rolling into the last 2 games of the year. This is the Lions.
Saturday, the day before New Year's Eve, the Detroit Lions roll in.
Which I think the Lions as a whole are my sleeper team this year. And I think
they very may well win the North this year.
I'm glad you said that. This is the year I think Detroit finally wins the NFC North. They got Jahmyr Gibbs, they got Jameson Williams, you still got Jared Goff, but I think Jared Goff is going to have a better year this year.
You named a rookie and a second-year wide receiver that hardly played last year.
Oh, hold on.
You didn't even name their number one receiver.
You cut me off, number one. Number two.
You're dragging this out too long.
No, it's interesting. But I think this is interesting because you got a scenario where we're sitting where we're probably in a 1 to 2 game playoff race with Philly at this point. sitting either a game or two above, a game or two below.
Hard disagree.
You think? You don't think it's going to be close?
No. At this point, going into the Lions game, we're 8-7. We're probably on the edge of the playoff race, and Philly's probably 12-4, or whatever it is, 12
So
and 3 at this point.
what are you giving the Cowboys here, though?
I say they win.
Okay, so you're going 9-7. I'll say we win against the Lions. That's 11-5. What do you think, Chris?
God, I hate that game so much.
This is, I think, a stressful win.
There's going to be a lot of those, by the way, in this season.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a tough year.
I'll just go win.
Okay, so you're 10-6. So
and we wrap up
at the Commanders. I don't need to say anything else.
We lose the game.
I'm going to mark you down as a win. I'm not even entertaining that option.
I'm dead serious.
You're not joking. You're dead serious.
I actually kind of agree with him.
Okay,
this
so
is a prime This is a prime position for classic Cowboys shit the bed.
But with Taylor Heineke as your quarterback.
Yes.
Or
yes.
Sam Howell.
Absolutely.
Or Sam
absolutely.
You know,
this is the way I have the season going currently. Is going into this last week, the Cowboys are 9-7. We're probably on the back half of the playoff picture, trying to sneak in. Maybe we might get left out. And this seems like the classic situation of win and you're in, and
but
guess
we
what
won't.
The Cowboys do.
So you're
lose by 20.
So you're going off of, just to be clear, I can see where you're coming from, and I can't disagree with that.
What?
He completely left.
I'm sticking with my. No, I'm here. I'm sticking with my hopeful side and saying that we win. I see where you're coming from, James. What do you think, Chris?
I agree with JC because what am I like 10 and?
That's
10
so yeah. You're 10-7. How we finish the season?
Okay, so here's the thing. Talk. Let's just if we're in that playoff picture.
Yes.
So many times. We've blown that game so many times when it's win and get in, or win this and you win the division, or win this and whatever. We've blown that game so many times that it's hard for me to see a scenario where we don't lose that game if it comes down to it. If it comes down to that, or if for some reason we managed to win the division, I think we still probably lose that game.
So I don't disagree, and it's probably going to go that way. I'm sticking with
10-7.
I'm sticking with the hopeful side and having us win. So we'll be 12-5, and we'll be. I'm saying we're going to be in a slug contest with Philly. That puts you at 10-7. James, you're going 9-8. That being said, the reason why I think I'm hopeful for this season.
Let me expand on my position. I have us going 9-8, miss playoffs.
10-7 could also lose a playoff.
I think 10-7 could too.
I think if we're 10-7, we likely sneak in at the end of the back half of like the
maybe in the NFC. Yeah, because maybe in the NFC.
In the NFC, 10-7 could get you in.
I'm thinking 9-8. We're out.
I'll go 12-5. Here's the other thing, boys. When's the last time there was a repeat champion in the NFC East?
Like 20-something years ago.
Right. So
the Giants are going to win the East this year.
Huh?
So the Giants are going to win the East this year.
I was putting money on the Commanders.
I don't care.
I was putting money on the Commanders.
You know,
they've
got the lowest. They've got the lowest odds to win it, but there have been crazy.
It's monopoly money.
So I think we're 12-5. Best case scenario. Maybe we win the division. Maybe we don't. I think we're in. At 10-7 and 9-8. If we're at 10-7, and we sneak in, I think everything is okay. Nothing changes. James, if we're 9-8,
No,
I
it's
want to talk about this for a second. And if we're 9-8 and miss playoffs, I think it's a pretty obvious statement that would be an incredibly disappointing and underachieving season. What changes
going to change though.
What? Well, hold on. That's my
Nothing
question.
that matters.
I'll tell you exactly what happens.
Nothing.
Jerry Jones extends Mike McCarthy.
Dude,
if Dak Prescott an extension
because he's a masochist and Jerry Jones likes it when we're in pain.
If he does extend, I'll say this: as much shit as I give Dak, if we are 9-8, it's I'm gonna give him some benefit of the doubt. It's not all his fault. I don't think receiving wise we're as deep as we could be, and I think not re-signing Zeke for cheap to be a blocker and like a third down back was kind of a mistake. So I don't think all the blame is going to be on Dak. The media is going to put it on Dak, and Stephen A. and Colin Cowherd, and everyone else is going to blame Dak. But I don't think it's all.
So now you don't listen to freaking Stephen A. Smith.
He's got some good. Does Stephen A. have some good stuff?
And it's the clip, and you're like, "Whoa, he's saying so much facts." Shut the hell up.
No. Stephen A. does have good points every now and then. Chris, do you agree with that?
No.
From time to time, except most of the time, I'd rather plug my ears.
Not about the Cowboys.
He does get paid to hate on Cowboys. That is a given fact. But I will say it won't all be on Dak. I think the offense this year it's either going to be really good or really bad, no in between.
For me, I'm actually happy with our wide receiver depth.
You like it?
Yeah, because while I don't necessarily agree with the Amari Cooper to Brandon Cooks thing, Brandon Cooks is still solid, and he's like 28, which I don't know how the hell they did that or something like that. But the depth behind them, I think, is better. Jalen Tolbert's finally being the receiver we thought he could be when we drafted him last year.
Yep.
Jalen Brooks out of South Carolina has been a pleasant surprise. You got a running. This isn't a wide receiver, but Deuce Vaughn's been a lot of fun so far, and I mean you can give him slot snaps.
Yeah, Deuce Vaughn has looked really good in training camp and in the preseason.
But we knew he was good, and he just fell in the draft because of his size.
Hey, it happens. And Tolbert's look great.
Yeah.
For finally. So,
but in my scenario, 9-8, people are not happy, but that's classic Cowboys. How Jerry Jones likes it. We're just competitive enough to keep them on their seats and keep them coming to games. Yep. Never good enough to win the Super Bowl. Go figure, right?
9-8 might as well be the Cowboys 1-15.
And so for me, I kind of see our scenario playing out where the Cowboys kind of finishes like the 8th seed, and then you've got probably Niners winning the West. You've got who the hell cares winning the South. Honestly, actually, the Saints will probably win it now that they have a quarterback for the first time since Drew Brees. You've got the Lions probably winning the North, and for the sake of argument, let's say the Eagles repeat in the East. Okay, so there's your top 4
Vikings in the North as well,
right? Well, so those are your top 4 seeds, but then you're going to have the Vikings being competitive in the playoff picture. Maybe the Bears get better, right? You're going to have the Giants probably in the playoff picture. You're probably going to have at least one. You're probably going to have at least maybe the Seahawks in the playoff picture again. And so that's 7 teams right there. Cowboys are probably going to be the odd one out.
I could see that.
I feel like the only reason that the Cowboys do find a way to get in is because the NFC, for the most part, is underwhelming. But, I mean, there are also teams that will benefit from that underwhelming conference besides us.
Yeah, and I think if it is a disappointing season, like what y'all were talking about, I think sure, like if stuff changes, it'll be minimal. But I think if things are going to change, it would be this season because at this point, I think the disappointment volume is going to be screaming, and Jerry Jones might act via his son and Will McClay might actually be forced to do something. What that is, I don't know, but we'll see.
They'll continue to buy. People
So,
will continue to buy merchandise.
oh, of course, people still will because of brand awareness. How? I mean, it's just great marketing. But that being said, my way too early Super Bowl prediction, the obvious choice.
What? Wait, what?
My way too early Super Bowl
We're
prediction.
doing that.
Don't say it
Huh?
because this is gonna be such a homer take, dude.
No, it would be very easy for me to say Chiefs and Eagles because that would be the obvious choice. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pick the Bills and the Niners. Thoughts and opinions.
I'm gonna say we get red hell.
You think it's going to be Chiefs and Niners?
Yes.
Okay. Chris?
I do like the Eagles and I do like the Eagles and the Niners in the NFC Championship game.
Again, yeah. I think they're the
Yeah.
far and away their favorites.
Those two teams are by far. I think they're the two best teams in the NFC.
By far.
So yeah. So I mean, I could do a coin flip and pick one. I think the Niners probably, depending on where the game's at, but I'll pick Niners.
I think this is
Strictly from biased reasons. And then
well.
the AFC's a lot harder because you got the Chiefs and who did you pick, Aiden?
I picked Bills.
Okay, so you got the Chiefs and the Bills, but then you got so many other great teams with young quarterbacks and some teams that could be dark horses. So like the AFC is so hard to choose.
I mean, Cincinnati.
You'd almost think
Joe Burrow's healthy. If Aaron Rodgers absolutely balls out, I mean, the Jets could sneak in. If Tua is amazing this year and the Dolphins' defense is great this year, the Dolphins could sneak in. But the AFC is the Wild West.
Chargers kind of are out there.
Make a case for them.
So it's if I had to pick somebody, I guess what did I pick? Niners Chiefs. Fine, I'll go Niners Chiefs.
Okay, so you're going. Wow.
I think the Super Bowl will be the Raiders and the Panthers.
Oh, how about that? But
you know what?
Here's the difference.
You know what? If we're going that route,
Chris, I want to add to what you said. You said that you were picking the Niners to beat the Eagles strictly on bias. I'm picking the Niners to beat the Eagles. I think that's the obvious choice for the NFC Championship game, strictly because the Niners are going to be healthy, and the Eagles are not going to get a walkover, injured, crutched Niners team.
Maybe. It'll be late in the season, and that's whenever a lot of players are injured. So we'll see. But my Super Bowl prediction, if JC's picking that Super Bowl, is going to be the Texans playing. Who's a bad team in the NFC?
The Bucks. The Bucks.
The Buccaneers. Yeah. The Buccaneers and the Texans
Mayfield is bringing a ring home to Tampa Bay.
We're gonna, I'm gonna say Cardinals Colts if we're going that way.
Hey, the Colts will be good.
Okay, they have the third worst odds to win the Super Bowl this year. But who? So I'm going Bills. Who did I say? Bills, Niners. I'm predicting the Niners to win the Super Bowl this year. My way too early.
I have Niners, Chiefs, and I have Chiefs repeating.
Chiefs repeat. Chris?
I think I almost had the Niners going to doing prediction for the Super Bowl.
Way too early.
I mean, I had the Niners going last year, I think, and they almost did.
We did.
Yeah, I said that after the first game of the season. You got an experienced Kansas City team in my scenario that's been there. And then you have a Niners team who's played the Chiefs and lost in the fourth quarter. So you got a team that's just going to be business as usual versus a team that's motivated probably to try and avenge the loss that they had. And I think the Niners defense is better. Their offense isn't, but I think the Niners can win that.
Yeah.
I got the Niners being the Chiefs.
Granted, you're without the man, the myth, the legend, Jimmy G, but bring in Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold, baby.
Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick.
That's true. Hey, Purdy, before he got hurt, looked pretty good, so we'll see.
He was doing nice. Anyways.
We will revisit this later in the season and see if we want to change our predictions. Just to summarize, I think it honestly could go either way. It's either going to be really good or really bad for us, and I consider 9-8 or even 9-8 downwards in record to be a complete failure of a season. Honestly,
9-8 has basically become the Dallas Cowboys version of 2-14 because since Jerry Jones has basically taken over the team, I don't think they've had many. Well, I think since 2000 they've been primarily a 500 team. They hardly ever go under 500, and if it is, it's going to be like 7-10, 6-11, something like that. Nothing that's going to give you a top 5.
Looked really good.
Sometimes need.
The last time they had a really favorable record going into the playoffs was Dak's rookie year, which was
I wasn't talking about favorable. I was talking about bad.
The 2016-2017 season? Yeah.
I was talking about bad seasons.
Oh,
a bad season for the Cowboys is 9-8, 8-8, 10-7, or 7-10, 6-11. They don't get bad records to where it can benefit you in the draft. It's going to get you somewhere in the 15th. It's somewhere in the middle of the pack, and people are going to still buy, even though we've been F off for however long.
You can't have an 8-8 season anymore, man.
9-8 is the new
8-8. Like I said, if it's 9-8 or less, it's a failure. Big failure.
And I say 9-8 is the new 8-8 because 9-8 will get us the better record but the worst draft pick, which is just what the Cowboys want.
I was just generalizing 8-8 because that's what it was 2 or 3 years ago.
Before we keep rambling on and on and on, we've been going about an hour, so we're going to wrap up. As you can see, we all have different opinions on the Cowboys this year. Some good, some bad. As always, I'm sure they're going to disappoint us again. We live in pain, but that's okay. So, thank you for watching, listening. As you've done, if you made it this far, like and subscribe. Let us know what we can do better. We'll chat with you later. See you when we see you.
Texas Rangers start winning more games.
Oh, yeah. That's a whole nother heartbreak.
Not getting on that.
That's a whole nother heartbreak as a Dallas fan.
Go Hogs. Goodbye, everybody.
You know, just shut up. Please.
Later.